All right, today we are diving deep, straight into the neuroscience of peak performance. We're going to unpack the actual science behind a practice that can, and I mean this literally, rewire your brain. The goal? To help you stress less, and this might sound a bit counterintuitive, actually get way more done. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So let me ask you something straight up. You've got big goals, right? Your schedule's probably packed, and you hold yourself to a really high standard. But does it ever feel like you're fighting against something? Some invisible force that's just holding you back from hitting your full potential? Well, that something actually has a name, and it's chronic stress.
And look, this is not just some vague feeling. It's a hard neurological fact. Emily Fletcher, the author of the book we're looking at, puts it, well, pretty bluntly in one of her chapter titles. She calls it, "Stress makes you stupid." Because when you're under constant stress, your ability to think clearly, to make good decisions, and to be creative, it all just takes a massive nosedive.
So what's actually going on inside your brain? Well, it's all about this ancient survival mechanism called fight or flight. Imagine your ancestors seeing a tiger. Immediately, their body gets flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, everything they need to either fight that tiger or run for their life. Here's the catch. In our modern world, that tiger isn't a tiger at all. It's a full inbox. It's a looming deadline. It's a tough conversation you have to have. Our bodies are triggering this emergency system constantly, and it is just draining our batteries, leading straight to burnout.
Okay, so if our own ancient biology is kind of working against us in this modern world, what do? What's the intervention? The answer is definitely not to just work harder or power through it. No. The answer is to use a specific tool that's really designed to upgrade your mental hardware.
Now, this is a really important point. A lot of us use mindfulness and meditation like they're the same thing. But from a neuroscientific standpoint, they're doing two very different jobs. Think of it like this. Mindfulness is about focusing on the present. It helps you deal with the stress you're feeling right now. It's like taking an aspirin for a headache. It helps with the immediate symptom. But meditation, the way we're talking about it here, is different. It's about systematically cleaning out all the accumulated stress from your past. It's not about the symptom, it's about getting to the root cause of the headache in the first place.
And this is exactly where the Ziva technique comes in. It's a system that cleverly combines these tools into a powerful sequence. You start with mindfulness as a sort of appetizer to ground you in the present. Then you move into meditation, the main course, to clear out all that old stored stress from the past. And finally, you use manifesting to consciously design your future. It's this complete three-part approach that's built specifically for people with busy minds and, busy lives.
And this isn't just some abstract theory, Just look at the real-world story of the author herself, Emily Fletcher. At 26, she's on Broadway. I mean, from the outside, she's living the dream, right? But internally, she is struggling with crippling anxiety, insomnia, burnout, the works. Then she finds meditation. And the very first thing that happens? She sleeps through the night for the first time in a year and a half. Just imagine that. Soon after, her performance on stage dramatically improves, and she starts getting real clarity on what she wants in life. So much so that by age 30, she actually quits Broadway to dedicate her life to teaching this stuff. It's just the perfect example of how powerful this is, especially when you're under intense pressure.
All right, so let's get to the really fascinating part. Let's look under the hood and see how this transformation actually works inside the brain. Because this isn't about believing in something, it's about biology.
Okay, the key takeaway here is that we now have the technology, things like MRIs, to actually see what's happening. We can watch as meditation physically restructures the most important organ in your body. This isn't just a mental exercise. It is literally changing the architecture of your brain. And the wild part? It happens a lot faster than you probably guess.
And the evidence coming out of top universities is it's overwhelming. For example, research from Harvard found that meditation actually shrinks the amygdala. That's your brain's little fear center, its alarm system. Now, for a high performer, this is a total game changer. It means you can regulate your emotions better and make clearer decisions when the pressure's on, instead of just reacting out of fear. Then you've got UCLA, which showed that meditators have a thicker corpus callosum. That's the bridge between the analytical left side of your brain and the creative right side. So you're essentially upgrading the connection, getting more whole brain thinking, which is huge for creative problem solving. And all of this, as research from Stanford confirms, comes back to one amazing concept: neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to literally rewire itself.
And check this out, this is probably one of the most stunning findings. As we get older, our brain's cortex, the part responsible for thinking and memory, it naturally starts to thin out. It's just a part of aging.
But one study found that the brain of a 50-year-old who meditates had the same cortical thickness as the average 25-year-old. Let that sink in. This practice can quite literally help keep your brain biologically younger.
And on a chemical level, what's happening is just as amazing. Your brain starts pumping the brakes on cortisol. That's the stress chemical we've been talking about, the one that messes with your memory and thinking. And at the exact same time, it starts flooding your system with the good stuff, dopamine for focus and drive, and serotonin for mood and well-being. You are actively, consciously changing your body's chemistry from a state of corrosive stress to one of constructive performance.
Okay, so all this brain science is super fascinating, but what does it actually mean for your real, day-to-day life? What's the bottom line? Well, it boils down to two things that every high performer values more than anything: less stress and, believe it or not, more time. This quote from Dr. Mark Hyman really nails the whole return on investment idea. Think about it. He's saying for the few minutes he puts into meditation each day, he gets back 3 extra hours of focused quality work. 3 hours. How is that even possible? Well, it's because a brain that isn't bogged down by stress makes better decisions, and it makes them faster. It solves problems more creatively. It doesn't waste precious energy spinning its wheels on anxiety.
And the objective health data tells the same story. That 10x you see, that represents a 10-fold improvement in adrenal health markers in students after just 5 months. Adrenal health, that's basically the opposite of burnout. Instead of feeling constantly wired but tired, which is that classic symptom, their bodies moved into a state of real resilience and health. That is a huge physiological shift.
So you might be wondering, how can this rest be so efficient? It's because it's fundamentally different from sleep. When you sleep, your brain kind of powers down, cycling through different stages. But in this kind of meditation, something else happens. Your mind stays awake and aware, what you could call hyper-conscious. While your body gets rest, it's been measured as 2 to 5 times deeper than sleep. That's why you can feel so incredibly refreshed and sharp afterward, without any of that groggy nap hangover. It's a unique state of what's called restful awareness.
And the best part is, you can do this literally anywhere. This little checklist here is for a workplace energy reset. You don't need a special cushion or incense or anything like that. You can just find a quiet space, a conference room, your car, even a restroom stall if you have to. Take a couple minutes for mindfulness to just ground yourself, then 10 or 15 minutes of meditation to let your body de-stress. It's designed for the real world, not a monastery.
Okay, let's pull all this together now. We've talked about the problem, chronic stress. We've looked at the hard neuroscience behind the solution, and we've seen the very real results it can produce. So the last piece of the puzzle is really just about reframing how we think about this whole practice.
And this quote, I think it just perfectly captures the entire philosophy here. We meditate to get good at life, not to get good at meditation. So many people think the goal is to become a good meditator and stop their thoughts or clear their mind, but that's not it at all. Your mind's job is to think. The goal is simply to use this as a tool to get better at everything else. Better at your job, better in your relationships, better at focusing, better at life. So I'll leave you with a final question. We invest so much time and money in our education, in our physical fitness, in our careers, and that's all great. But what about the command center for all of it? What about your brain? If you can start seeing this practice not as just another annoying task on your to-do list, but as a non-negotiable investment in your single most valuable asset, well, that might just be the ultimate performance enhancement there is, not just for you, but for everyone around you.